24 hours ago, we witnessed a race of patience and precision and Porsche power as Pascal Wehrlein robbed to victory in his 100th start. It's all changed, though, one day later as the German driver lines up outside of the top 10. What will happen as the lights go out? Welcome to the JEDDAH ePrix. Well, let's take a closer look at this circuit then. We've been racing here for a couple of years now, 3 kilometers long, 19 turns in total. Kiro Chandok, talk us through this place, because it is brilliant.
It is a great circuit. You've got a good mix of corners. You've got into the first corner itself, a great overtaking opportunity at the end of the long start-finish straight. You immediately turn right into turn 2. You've got to have a car that has good traction there. Turn 4, we've seen a few incidents in the past, but also some overtaking. As we get on the run through turn 5, a very quick sequence there, 5, 6, 7, and then the 2 chicanes, the bus stop chicanes, through 8, 9, 10, 11. Turn 13, that's where we'll have the attack mode, and drivers will be running wide on the outside to get that before going through 2 chicanes to finish off the lap top.
Yep, that's how the lap looks then, and 19 turns in total, 30 laps for the drivers to contend with over the course of today. Let's run you through how the 20 drivers will line up on the grid. Nyck de Vries right at the very back, did not start yesterday, 10-second stop-and-go penalty. He'll have to serve in the race after various components were changed. Barnard, his worst qualifying of the season, and Penske's lowest start here in Jeddah as well. Next up, Nico Muller and Norman Nasso. Then you've got the likes of Pepe Marti as well as Mitch Evans outside of the top 10. He was on the podium here yesterday, let's not forget. Felipe Drugovich and then Pascal Wehrlein, the man who started this one, of course, in 3rd position on the grid and then went on to take a commanding victory. And here's how the top 10 will look on the grid. Zane Maloney, his best starting position of his Formula E career, aiming for his 2nd points finish of the season. Dan Ticktum, temperature management issues yesterday, missed out on the duels today though by just 2/100ths of a second. Nick Cassidy lost the championship lead here yesterday evening as well. It's only his 2nd top 10 start of season 12. Sebastian Buemi, his best starting position in Saudi Arabia since 2023, whilst Max Günther was on the front row here yesterday as well for the DS Penske team. Jean-Eric Vergne, his best qualifying position of season 12. He's the lead Stellantis-powered car from 5th on the grid. Oliver Rowland, 2 consecutive non-scores though, but he's bounced back to get into the duels here today. He won race 2 in 2025 here in Jeddah. Antonio Felix Costa equals his best starting position of his Jaguar career. He's aiming for his 1st podium with the team. Jake Dennis is on the front row, his 1st dual appearance in Jeddah. Missed out on pole by just 4/100ths of a second. Mortara seeks his 1st win since Seoul 2022. It's former world champion. Waiting then for the green flag to be waved at the back. And then it's eyes on the red light. Formula E, it's time to get rowdy in Saudi as the lights go out and we go racing. Good start from Mortara off the front row. Nice one from Dennis as well. Keep an eye out for De Costa looking on the outside of Dennis as we come down towards the turn 1. Side by side with Vergne and Rowland into the 1st corner as well. Into turn 2 we go. De Costa on the inside of Dennis. Gets the move done by the looks of things on the exit of the corner. And then Dennis has got the inside line though as we come down into turn 4. He's not giving that one up, but it's still Mortara that leads and we're still 2 by 2 for 4th place there as well.
Yeah, and we've got to be careful as he run it along the wall there, but great defending by Dennis. That gives Mortara just a little bit of breathing space as we get halfway into this 1st lap. Yeah,
Vergne shuffled off to the runoff area on the exit of turn 5. Dennis going to the outside of Mortara down into the bus stop chicane. Can he make that stick? Not quite through there. Mortara lives to fight another day and holds on to the race lead for now. In the background, you've got Ticktum who's made a position there on Sebastian Buemi. Zane Maloney's up a couple of places from where he started in that 1st sector as well, as Wehrlein is shuffled down to 9th. And look at that, Dennis going for the race lead. Rowland looking on the inside. They're all lifting and coasting, trying to jostle for position as we come in towards turn 13. So it's now Rowland in the Nissan that hits the front. Mortara's relegated down into 2nd. De Costa's on the inside of the Swiss driver into the penultimate chicane. Are they going to make it through without contact? Nearly, just about. Mortara does manage to retain 2nd place.
Slightly surprised here, Rowland going for the lead there because, you know, when it's a bit like cycling. If you're the leader of the pack, you're cutting the hole in the air, giving the slipstream to the people behind, and therefore using more energy. It's the same thing in Formula E. You're burning up more energy if you're leading, but Rowland, at this stage, seems to want to be in that lead.
Yeah, but I think what he can also do, and of course you're absolutely right in terms of pushing that hole in the air, but given the nature of these chicanes, he'll be able to control the pace through there. So maybe a little bit more lift, a bit more coast, a bit more recharge. But as you see a restart here, Dennis actually did make a very good start. Mortara and was able to just run a straight line down to the first corner. And then you see Costa using that opportunity in that wide open turn 1-2 to get alongside Dennis.
Yeah, further back, Maloney was side by side with Cassidy going down in towards turn 1 there as well. But on board we ride here with Jake Dennis. This is his view into the first chicane. You can see on the right-hand side, that is Costa, who appears he just about managed to make it through with the slightest bit of contact through there, but Dennis just didn't want to give it up. He kept his car parked on the inside, as he was entitled to do, and managed to, at that point, hold on to second.
Brilliant driving, though. They gave each other space, Karun.
Exactly, really respectful stuff. This is Nick de Vries serving a penalty. They found a problem with his car yesterday, so they changed a lot of components. He ended up actually with a
side by side, they still run as they come in towards the final chicane. Da Costa looking for that third place and getting it. Yeah,
you've got to acknowledge, Karun, the skills to be able to deal with such variation in lap time, such close wheel to wheel.
Yeah,
it is impressive, but the chances of them being able to do that repeatedly is going to go wrong at some point.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, Lucas de Grassi's taken attack mode. Yeah. It's probably gone 4 minutes, hasn't he? So he's the first of the drivers to go attack. Yeah,
so what he's trying to do there is, because the field is quite bunched up at the moment, I mean, 7 seconds separates 19 drivers out there on track, so he's trying to cycle through, gain some positions in sort of this early phase of the race, which will hopefully benefit him when he gets track position. The problem is, obviously, when you're in attack mode, you've got an extra 50 kilowatts of power and all-wheel drive, but you're also consuming more energy at that point, so you're going to have to save it later on. And we know the Lola, they've struggled a bit with efficiency relative to some of the other competition on the field.
Yeah, but I think the point is, when everyone's going slowly in the early part of the race and being bunched up, it's easier to gain positions. Yeah. When you hit that go point, where they all start going flat out, it is harder to cycle up to the front. So I think, you know, Lucas, he's a wily old fox, and he's, you know, I think this is quite a good idea to just try and cycle up to the front and see what happens.
Yeah, he's getting close to his teammate, of course, who is a perfect example of you race where you qualify.
Yeah, alternating strategies there for the Lola Yamaha app team at this point. Zane Maloney starting inside the top 10 for the first time in his career, aiming for his second points finish of the season as well. De Grassi goes to the inside of Pepe Marti and also elevates himself now into the points as well for P10. Across the line we go. Da Costa still leads from Oliver Rowland, or is that going to be for long? Coming down in towards turn 1, Buemi's on the inside, Rowland's on the outside. We're 3 abreast for the lead. Now it's Buemi in the Envision that hits the front. Mortara on the outside there, and subsequently on his inside is Dan Ticktum. 3 abreast, nearly again down in towards turn 4. Mortara shuffled out to dry a little bit with Rowland, and a little bit tight. There was a bit of contact going into 4, and there's contact as well for the back of Zane Maloney's car, because he's got a rear wing end plate missing as well.
Yeah, and he's teammate right behind, watching it flap in the wind.
The FIA will get on the phone and ask them to stop, I think, because that's not particularly safe, having that flapping around.
Albie, we're seeing a few personal best lap times starting to come in from these drivers at this point. The racing looks to be getting a little bit more aggressive. How are you reading things from your vantage point on the strategy wall, as it were?
So before we had a little bit of a pickup in pace, and then sort of Ollie drew everybody back again. So they've saved actually quite a lot of energy in these first 10 laps. I think the go point's going to be pretty soon, if not this lap already.
2 minutes left of attack mode then for Antonio Felix da Costa. Keep an eye out for Dan Ticktum as well. He's got a bit more energy relative to some other drivers in front of him, namely De Grassi rather, and Evans. And I wonder whether that might prove to pay dividends for him later on in the race.
Yeah, both Lolas running in the top 10, of course, at this point. And they as I said before, that De Grassi's plan has worked. Just cycling up when people were doing 125s, 126s, means that now when they're doing 190s and 18s, it's harder to overtake. He's up 12 places from where he started.
Keep an eye out for the Penskes as well, of Barnard and Gunter. Albie on our strategy wall is saying that they're now in attack mode. They will be coming through the pack. And is this going to be a bit of redemption after the difficulties of yesterday? They both started the race so strongly. Took quite an unusual strategic call. It didn't work out for them at the end of the race. And the result was that both the drivers were, well, one was in the points, one was outside.
Yeah, I think the Stellantis cars are struggling though. Look, Burns sort of dropped to 9. Cassidy's not really making progress as we'd expect. He's down at 12. And both the Penskes, I know they've got attack mode. We'll see, they'll move up a bit, but they're not exactly fighting the top 10, are they?
Yeah, and percentage-wise, they're right on the bubble as well. Yeah. So they haven't. It's not like they've been in saving mode.
Buemi and Mortara in.
Push to take attack.
Yeah, so 2 minutes of attack mode for their first deployment then in this race. De Grassi now suffering with that early attack mode and having to save energy, we're fairly certain, because he's down relative to the rest of the field. He cycled his way through, and I'm sure we're going to see, unfortunately, for the Season 3 World Champion, drop down the order as De Costa sets the quickest lap of the race into the 1:17s. Likewise, Dan Ticktum then as well, also in the 1:17.
So this is the goal point.
Yeah.
This is the goal point that Al Bilal was talking about in terms of just, you know, doing much less energy saving and flying away. So if you look at the last lap, yeah, and I think this is a bit like we saw with Wehrlein. If you've got a gap, you can then manage your pace, you can manage your energy, and you can be in control of your own race a bit more, and that's what De Costa is trying to do here at Jaguar.
Buemi and Mortara are the ones you need to watch. They're all in attack mode at the moment, from second down to sixth, as you can see. But Buemi and Mortara, they went for a 2-minute deployment early on. They've now got 6 minutes, so they're going to have over a minute more than Ticktum and Rowland, which is going to leave them, as you can see, because they're so close on track, it's going to leave them completely dead in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, and they could certainly end up back on the podium positions here, couldn't they?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Through into turn 13 we go. You can see that Ticktum and De Costa, the gap has shrunk down to 2 seconds here, but De Costa, as we expected, of course, going in for that final attack mode deployment. No other opportunity really there for the Portuguese driver. And as we come down towards the final chicane, it's going to be a case of the pace, again, really continuing to ramp up, and we're going to get some fastest lap times coming in, I'm sure, towards the end of this one now.
Yeah, so Buemi and Mortara will have about 1 minute and 15. So they'll have 1 extra lap, won't they, of attack mode. That's about what it is. So over Rowland and Ticktum, they'll actually have about, what, 45 seconds more than De Costa as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough, given the gap's up to 2 seconds, but look, anything's possible in Formula E. As Cassidy now, he is... as you can see, Maya down in 17th place. He's in attack mode, just right behind Felipe Drugovich, who hasn't really featured much this weekend, unfortunately, for the Brazilian driver, but Cassidy goes through.
They've done exactly the opposite of De Grassi, haven't they? Instead of going early when everyone's going slowly and bunched up, they've waited too long, and they're trying to now overtake when the pace is 10 seconds a lap faster, and it's just more difficult to overtake.
Yeah, and
completely got that wrong.
The 3 cars in front of them all have attack mode as well. You're going to run out, of course, and he's going to have a minute or so more than them, but it just makes it that bit more frustrating.
So De Costa with 2.5 minutes left of attack mode, Ticktum with just over a minute left on the clock, Rowland with a little bit more, relatively speaking, so I think Ticktum is probably going to drop off the podium before the end of the next lap, probably onto the fringes of the top 5 for the British driver. We'll wait and see how it all works out for him. At the moment, he's sitting there in P2, but again, you just get the sense of the Jaws music starting to ramp up for himself and Oliver Rowland in the closing 4 laps of this race.
Yeah, Evans is going to have more than everyone else at the top, isn't he? He's going to have about 1.5 minutes more than Marti, for example, 1 minute more than people like Buemi Mortara. So keep an eye out for him. The problem for Evans is he's 3 seconds behind Pepe Marti. So that extra minute will give him about a lap, will maybe just give him, you know, enough to get on the back of Marti. I don't think it'll be enough to get ahead. Yeah, started 13th on the grid, did Mitch Evans, so it's a good recovery into the points nonetheless for him as Cassidy deposes of Norman Nato for 15th position. And as we said, it's just not worked out for Cassidy. I suppose the one advantage for him is he's going to have another attack mode, so he can cycle his way through up a little bit further in the order, but, you know, low points positions, if he's very, very fortunate of what he's going to be on for best here, as Wehrlein is now side by side with Pepe Marti for position. This is for 6th place here. Marti is in attack mode, and he's gone through on the factory Porsche for P6. Yeah, it's going to be close, isn't it, here between himself and Wehrlein. There's about half a second or so separating those 2 drivers. On board, we ride here with Evans. He's now side by side with the German driver. Goes through into turn 13. 7 seconds left of attack mode. So, again, the top 5 finish might be just a bridge too far. Could be a 5th and 6th place here for the Cupra Kiro team, which will be their first double points finish of the 2026 season as well. There's a bit of front wing damage there for Mitch Evans also. He's just been in the wars a little bit, as we see his teammate Antonio Felix da Costa exiting out of the final corner. The prevailing field coming across the timing line. Yeah, Mitch Evans missing part of his front wing on the left-hand side there, so clearly he has had a bit of an intimate moment with another driver out there on track, as it were.
No, this is a straight sprint to the finish for this group. Da Costa has got this under control, his to lose.
Yeah.
It's a good race so far for Kiro, isn't it? 5th and 6th at the moment. That's a good haul of points if they could stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. Albie, one final thought for you before the end of this race. We've got a nose-tail between about 4 drivers in this battle for the podium places. Can anyone do anything, do you reckon?
Yeah, so for those cars behind the Costa, it's going to be crucial going into the final two.
Sorry, Albie. Marti side by side here with Dan Ticktum. Marti's into the wall, into the bus stop chicane. Marti collides with his teammate Dan Ticktum. They just about live to fight another day, but that was unnecessary from the Cupra Kiro team.
What are they doing? We're just saying they're in for a good haul of points.
Yeah, that's a big, big shame there for both of those drivers, and Pepe Marti was going to be absolutely gutted with how that worked out after contact with his teammate. The upshot is they're still in 5th and 6th place. It's just the order has been reversed from where it was at the start of the lap.
Well, it's unfortunate, but it is called racing for a reason.
So, how are the podium positions going to shape out in this race? Buemi in 2nd, Rowland in 3rd, equal energy there and thereabouts. Mortara in 4th position, Ticktum P5, Marti in P6, but now a gap, as you can see, beginning to build out between Rowland and Mortara. So I wonder if that is just going to be the sort of breathing space that Rowland will need to be able to attack Buemi and not worry about what's happening behind.
Yeah, he's lining it up, isn't he? And Mortara, well, none of them are got advantage over the other in terms of their state of charge.
Rowland's got to get a good slipstream. That's what he's got to hope for. I think on the run to 13, he's got to get close enough out of the bus stop to then get a run down to turn 13 and just try a move there. That's his best opportunity against Sebastian Buemi here. So this is it. We're on the run out of 11 down to 13. Can he get the toe?
Yeah,
he has been good there previously, but it looks too far back.
Yeah, he's just a bridge too far, isn't he? Just hasn't got the pace. Buemi's played a blinder in this one in the Envision. It's going to be a Jaguar Power 1-2 finish, seemingly at the end of this race. Coming out of turn 13 we go. Just 2 more chicanes left, and unless Rowland dives for a lunge on the inside, I think it's going to be a step too far for him. However, for Antonio Felix da Costa, well, it was a slow start to life at Jaguar, pointless in the first couple of races. He bounced back in Miami, and now he will stand on the top step of the podium for the first time with his new team. Antonio Felix da Costa wins here in Jeddah. It's victory as JEDDAH is back in Formula E. Buemi makes it a Jaguar-powered 1-2 as he brings home the Envision in 2nd position, and then it's Rowland completing the podium ahead of Edoardo Mortara and the 2 Cupra Kiros of Dan Ticktum and Pepe Marti. A great result for them. But a phenomenal race from Antonio Felix da Costa and for the Jaguar team. You sense that that first podium was only a matter of time away, and it's the top step on his first visit there with the British outfits.
Yeah, brilliant drive from da Costa. You sensed earlier as he looks to the camera, bit of ultimate showboating there, but you sensed that he was up for it, and well, Ian James there delighted with that result.
Oliver Rowland, his 3rd podium finish of the season here in Jeddah. Well, a phenomenal job, and we're looking forward to the podium celebrations about to begin with Rowland, Buemi, and of course the winner, Antonio Felix da Costa. For now, let's go back down to Nicky, and we'll get the podium celebrations underway in a couple of minutes. Huge effort from the outfit back at Gaydon.
CEO and founder of CBX,
Carlo Battaglia presenting the 3rd place trophy to Oliver Rowland. Very well-deserved podium for Ollie, and it will do no harm at all in terms of the Drivers' Championship, especially with Nick Cassidy again failing to score here tonight. Cassidy now down to 4th in the championship after checkered flag fell here for round 5.
His Royal Highness Prince Khalid bin Sultan Al Abdullah
2nd place trophy being presented then to Sebastian Buemi. That's a great bit of silverware for him to take home.
The 2nd place driver, Sebastian Buemi.
Been a long time coming for Sebastian Buemi. Last time that we saw him on the podium was the end of last season in London. So not that long in terms of rounds, but in terms of months, and in terms of the pace of performance and the potential that we've seen from Buemi this year, it has taken him
Next,
just that little bit of time to get up to speed, but he's rewarded, I should say, with the result of the second position. Before the trophy to be presented, first of all, the FIA medal to Antonio Felix da Costa. Don't worry, it's not a bit of chocolate there, Antonio. And now the winner's trophy to be presented, the 13th to add to his collection, and I'm sure to go into a very full trophy cabinet for the Portuguese driver. Antonio Felix da Costa is victorious here in Jeddah, his 13th career win, a 24th for Jaguar, and only his 5th race with the team. Dak is back. Mitch Evans down there in part of Vergne, as well as the remainder of the team. Now it's time to run and take cover as the road water is about to be sprayed on the podium then here. What a great end to the weekend under the lights. Formula E really did light up the night here in Jeddah. And of course, it's not over with the Evo sessions continuing the action tomorrow evening as well. But for now, Antonio Felix da Costa takes his first win with Jaguar TCS Racing.